Hey guys, our movie One Click comes out on November 16th. We're going to be dropping it on our YouTube channel, One Click Film. You can find the link in our bio to watch along. I'm here with James, of course, writer-director of the film. And we have Greg Poljacik today, our stunt coordinator, who coordinated the film for us, also a really good friend of mine. And me, of course, Sara, producer.
Sara Beko, producer extraordinaire.
Yeah.
This is fun. Yeah, so it's our second kind of film accompanying podcast. We got Greg here in LA, so we might as well rock an episode.
Yeah.
It's my first time working with Greg, and he's the best. He's so
Right?
fun to work with. He's so nice. You guys have known each other for a while, though, right?
Yeah. We've, I met him at stunt school when I went through the International Stunt School in Seattle. He was my teacher, and he has become a really big mentor of mine, and now a really close friend as well, as we've gone through our stunt journey together. So it just was like a no-brainer to bring him into the project and to have him help coordinate our first ever film. So yeah.
Did you have fun?
I did. I had a blast.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff to play with. We're out in the desert, and the whole vibe on the set was super chill, and everybody was filled with joy and just excited to make this project. So it's like that's the what you want to hope for when you're jumping in to make a movie. So it was a great time.
And then let's say you're looking at the script for the first time. What are the things you're pointing out as stunt coordinator that we're going to have to pay special attention to? And, you're going to maintain safety. We have a car explosion. We have dirt bike stunts. We have squib hits. All of that's going in the short film. It's kind of ambitious in terms of the action, what we were doing.
Yeah.
So what went into, approaching it from a safety standpoint, stunt coordinator standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, the big ones are obvious. So, you blow up a car, that's the obvious safety things. Squibs and bikes, okay, we got to protect all of this and make sure people know how to ride the bike, make sure the trails are safe, and that we don't have anything unexpected. It's the things that kind of jump up and get you. If we're running up on a ridge and we need to go make sure that everything is solid enough to run on, we see Nathan, running with his rifle. He's not going to trip on something and do something silly, and then we're out the actor, right? So the big stuff, sure, we plan for that. We make sure that's safe as possible. But then it's paying attention to those smaller details in the action sequences that we want, when there's a fight going on. How do we get this to get the look that you want? And then how do we make sure that we're not going to get some small injury that takes out our main actor?
Yeah, that's such a good point, honestly. I don't think a lot of people realize how much small minutia stuff stunts is involved in, like with running. Like even just as simple as doing a running scene, the stunt coordinator is heavily involved with making sure that the path is clear, an actor's not going to twist their ankle. And stuff like that. So yeah, there's so many, aside from all the obvious big stuff, stunt coordination is so heavily involved in so many other little things that you wouldn't really think about.
You got to think of all the possible ways somebody can get hurt. And so, and that also added to the fun. There's many times where you're shooting another scene, and I'm wandering off in the desert just checking out where we're going to run next.
Yeah.
And just kind of kicking things out, looking for snakes. I don't know what animals are out there. I don't know if there was snakes or not. I don't know. I'm not a good snake person, so if I would have saw it, you would have heard a scream. and then had to find some way to deal with it. But I'm looking for all that stuff, bushes to fall into, animals to fall into. I don't know. But it was nice to be able to go and explore and have a little time. Go check all that stuff out, so that way it's also safe for the crew, because we're not only looking out for the actor, we got to make sure that everybody that's setting up, the crew, our PAs, people that are walking there, have a set path, and I can help assist the team. I know that there's other team that are for that, but I'm there looking at a safety eye too. I can relay that information and say, hey, look, this is a nice path. This is probably best to get our gators up to. This is best to get our crew through here. Why not be an extra voice just to lend a hand there too?
Yeah.
I wish Greg was on our Indiegogo video, because I pulled my fucking hammy running. I legit pulled my hammy.
Yep.
Bad. And then Beko to
while
help
running
me starts punching my thigh.
Yeah.
Just gonna get blood flow back in there,
Right,
man.
yeah, that does it, yeah.
I'm like, it's not helping. Please stop punching me.
But those are the things, again, we take it for granted, because it's a lot of downtime, and then you got to go, and you got to go hard. So, and that's also a part of why a stunt performer is who they are. You've got to train your body enough to be able to be sitting around for long periods of time and then have quick bursts of exertion. And, that's very easy to tear something. It doesn't matter how good a shape you're in. If you're just sitting there for a moment and then all of a sudden you got to go, your muscles are like, I'm not ready, man. I'm just full of coffee and, candy. Right? So
oh my God, yeah.
You've got to be set up for it. So yeah, those are the things we think about.
Yeah, someone in peak physical condition can tear their hammy like
Yeah.
that.
Right away.
Happens
my
to the
gosh.
best of us. And then I went on top of her car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. Yep.
It's a good time.
Good times.
I loved being on set with you, man. You're just a blast, and you bring such a great positive energy. I think that comes from, you're so confident, but also because you can kill anybody you want with your bare hands. No, but you're just like a delight to be around. You're really easy to work with and to talk to. And like even when we have to pivot and change things, we were gonna do our gunshot hit. We planned for months with a hand bomb, with wire work, and with a rig, and we are gonna pull our person when they got shot in the chest. And I was like, I want the Tarantino Django Unchained pull. And we were so excited about it. We tested in the backyard a bunch, and then day of, our stunt performer was actively doing it themselves without the rig at all, and you suggested like we can save some time, let's just I would suggest doing it this way, we can do it however you want, but I mean we might save an hour, and she's really doing a great job herself, just self-motivating, so we should maybe pivot. And I thought that was great advice.
Well, it was also, Leia did a great job with the reaction. It was such a beautiful reaction. I was like, I don't know if we're going to get a better one with a line motivated pull.
Yeah.
So the line motivated pull, you can still get great reactions from a great performer, but there's a certain amount of energy that's going into your body, and you have to compensate for that and then build into reaction. And so her reaction to the gunshot from a distance, I was like, if we look at this is pretty great, and she killed it. So we can, like I said, save time. We don't have to go and harness her up and get us under the wardrobe and cut holes and do all the stuff that we need to do. If you like what we have, like let's go. And that's a testament to the stunt performer on that one. I was able to just relay and advocate for the time, but also celebrate our performer doing a great job putting their body on the line and hitting the dirt. Even we're like, you don't really have to. We're kind of far away. And she's like, I'll do it. And she did it. I was like, it's pretty good. I'm glad you did it. I'm glad you did it.
It ended up being great.
But I want to, send all the praise to Leia for that one. That was a really great.
She killed it,
yeah.
honestly. And everything that she did, her acting too, especially, was so good.
One of the best line reads in the whole movie.
Honestly,
She's got one line and she delivers it. So she got a couple lines, but that main line, she kills it. It's so good.
Yeah.
And plus, riding the dirt bike around was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But that was one of those things that we were like, it's in the script to rip the rear tire of the dirt bike to create a dust cloud.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we were
let's
just
talk about that.
We were never done it before, but like we looked it up on YouTube.
Yeah, well, and like this is really where you came in, like, and provided us with a lot of value with that, because you have a lot of experience with bikes, a lot of experience with motorcycles. So this was something that we'd never done, and we were so nervous about being able to work. But you like really came in and just kind of was like, well, this is how we're gonna do it. This is how it's gonna work, and we're either gonna get it or we're not. So that was, it's just one of those things like where you just want to surround yourself with people who are so much better than you in all the other areas, because that's how you get success.
Yeah, it's a collaboration. It's a team thing, right? We're all there to make art. We're all there to have a good time. And then the other day, we're all there to come home in one piece, right? And even something as burning out a tire, if you haven't done it before, it can be intimidating. You've got a motorcycle and you're feeling it try to rip away from you. And if you let go at the wrong time, or you let go of the brake and it just tears off, it can. And if you've got camera and equipment and crew around you, those are things to be concerned about. But then the goal is, and that's part of why I try to keep things light, it's like, look, let's take it seriously. Let's really make sure that we're being safe, but then let's remember we're having a good time, and let's build ourselves into it. Let's cover our bases. Let's build you up piece by piece to make sure you're confident in delivering it. And then if you feel good, we got it. And if you don't, it's a creative art. We can find ways to fake it, right?
Yeah.
There shouldn't be anything where this is the only way we have to do it, and we're so pressured to do it. So no, we've got creative solutions all over the place. And when you've got a team of people who has great leadership that allows us to speak up and pipe in, right? Because even that last situation with the hand pull, there's plenty of people who are like, well, I want it. I'm so stuck on it.
Yeah.
I don't want to change. You guys being open to collaborate and having other ideas allows your team to help solve problems for you and keep things on track. Some folks aren't open to that, and that's fine. That's the way you want to run your movie. Great, all power to you. But the collaborative atmosphere allows us to then build, feel comfortable, and then have the performers feel comfortable saying no.
Yeah.
And that's an enormously empowering thing to be able to say, I know I'm supported. If I don't feel comfortable, I can bring something up, and these people will protect me and help me find a way to still do it and do it well. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Again, that's a testament to you guys creating that atmosphere.
Well, I mean, I'm a huge advocate of you're only as good as your team. And if you think that, I don't know, if you think that you have all the answers, it's not going to be, you're not going to have a good creative flow. You're not going to be able to make a good movie because you don't have all the answers. Nobody has all the answers. So we want to collaborate. We want to bring smarter, more experienced, more, people with a lot more knowledge than us in to make, essentially to make us look good.
Basically, yeah. To make me look good as the director. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as a director, I never want to pretend like I have the best idea ever.
Yeah.
I got the idea for the movie, but I need to surround myself with people who have better ideas. And like the ending of the movie was different than what someone gave me an idea to change the ending of the movie. And I'm like, oh, it's a great idea. Let me change it right now.
Yep.
I immediately put it in. And so I'm so happy and open to come up with ideas with other people and hear what they got to say, because class projects, it's like that taught you the same thing. You work better as a group.
Yeah. Sometimes
there's that one person who's stuck by themselves doing all the work. I felt like that was me for a while. That's why I love collaborating with people. And like, I will take any good idea that comes away, anytime.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
I'm curious, just if you want to talk a little bit about how you got into stunts and why you got into stunts.
Well, I started as an actor, so I got into stunts later. I went to the stunt school when I was 28, so it's a little bit, it's not late, but it's later than a lot of folks who know they want to do stunts as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea the job existed as a kid, and not even into early adulthood. So I was an actor, and I was trying to be an actor on stage in Chicago, and I was doing fine. It's just doesn't pay a lot, and I was waiting for the opportunity to fight. I was doing a lot of stage fighting, and I really loved that. So I was like, all right, dialogue. When is it time to throw a punch? So
Give me a sword.
Yeah. It dawned on me like 6 or 7 years later. I was like, I should just be doing the fighting part. The acting part, I'm not as invested in as I should be. So I stopped acting, switched over to stunts, and the stunt school gave me an opening of, okay, I don't know as much as I thought I did. I knew the live side of it, but I didn't know the camera side of it. And so I just invested my training there. But I was always physical. I loved storytelling, still love telling stories with my body and finding ways to make stories come alive that other people have. Being able to read a script that somebody wrote, see their vision, and then look at the problem solving of, well, how do I create that as a performer? And then the next level, which I'm into now, is that as a coordinator, how do I make your vision happen? And then translate that to other people's bodies. How do I talk to a performer and build them with confidence to do this thing that we're creating out of nothing, and then again get them home in one piece? You're going to be banged up and bruised up, but how do I not break you?
Yeah.
How do I make this image that you have and support your story that you've invested all this time and money and effort into? And you've got a vision, and I'm trying to find and see that same vision and match it. It's an ultimate puzzle. It's so cool. So the journey was started in storytelling with acting. I missed the physicality and jumped into physicality, and then found out that this world is a never-ending learning world. First it was all fighting. And I was, I can drive. That's cool. I want to learn how to do that. There's rigging. So, I want to learn how to do that. And then, of course, fire. And I fell in love with fire. I went way down that rabbit hole.
He's a really big fire guy. We actually just got done with a fire burn workshop here in LA.
James
you both
got
let
to
me
be
on fire yesterday.
Yeah, you got to burn. Yeah.
His first burn ever.
It was so fun.
Yep.
I had a blast. You guys made me feel so safe.
I'm
That's
glad.
the
Yeah,
idea.
that's the point.
I did watch 12 people or 10 people get
14.
burned.
Or you watched 14 burns.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I went by myself at the end by my last, and it was a blast. It was so fun.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I was not really that nervous. I thought I would be, but I wasn't, because I was in good hands. I knew, like, I always say, like, whenever I'm with Sara and obviously with you, like, I'll do whatever. I'll go rappelling. I'll get put on top of a car, because I know you guys are gonna have my best interest in mind and my safety as your top priority. So if you guys are around, I'll fucking whatever, dude. Light me on fire. Let's go.
Stunts ultimately is safety. Like, that's always been drilled in my head, like from stunt school and from Greg. Like, stunts is safety. Yes, we do really cool shit. We do this awesome, spectacles and all this crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, it's risk management and it's safety.
Yeah, it's like, again, the job is to get hurt, right?
Yeah.
And that's the difference between injury.
Yes.
Injury, that should be rare. We try to avoid injury. Bruised, walking away a little sore, a little banged up, that's why we do the job and the actors don't, right?
Yep.
And we want to make it look easy enough that anybody see it and so, I could do that. And then when we actually put them in the rig, they're like, I don't want to do this, right? And that's where we want it to lie. That, that looks like I could have done it. And then they go and try it, and they're like, no way, you guys are nuts. And they're like, Yeah, like we're not crazy. We're not. But there is adrenaline a portion to it, but that's what separates us, is that we take all this planning, that you can't take away all the pain, but you can take away and reduce the likelihood that you're going to be permanently damaged, right? That's our goal.
Yeah.
Always acknowledging it's a contact sport like any other professional sport. That risk is always there, right? And that's what your coordinator should be helping from the beginning, lowering that down to make sure your friends come home, your colleagues come home, those people are able to continue their career. And as a performer, your training is to match them in that, right? Which is why we're always encouraging of people to train your body. You don't have to be a bodybuilder. It's not body shaping. It's get yourself tough enough to match the safety levels that are coming to you. And then that's going to make you more successful and durable, and then give you more variety of what you need to put onto the camera, right? At the end of the day, our job is these screens, is putting something up here for a show. And if your body can't move in the way you want to, or that somebody else wants to, then you just have less of a product available.
Yeah.
I like how stunt people, the eras have changed so much. It was like the cowboy era of like the mid 20th century, and now there's so many safety protocols. I also respect stunt people so much because there's so much training involved. Now that I'm like stunt adjacent with so many stunt people friends, I see how much work goes into little things. And you guys come in, you're on set for one specific thing sometimes, then you're off. You're like walk away in a cloud of smoke. You don't get the enough credit, I think, stunt people, but obviously that's changing a lot, like the last 5 years, stunt category at the Oscars now.
You know, and look, I want to highlight and be thankful for the heritage from those people who started in stunts.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that cowboy era, our safety stuff came from them.
Yep.
You know, that they threw their bodies at this thing where somebody's like, well, we need somebody to fall off these horses. We need to get shot by, you know, this scene, and you know, sometimes get shot by real arrows, and they're figuring it out as they go, and they did some awesome stuff, and they laid the groundwork. And then you have these wonderful minds at the time saying, well, how can we do this better? Yes, we're doing it, and we're wild, and we're jumping in, and we're happy to jump in and bang up our bodies. And then they're taking the lessons that they learned and are able to continue to develop the technology. Like even with the fire stuff, yes, I did research and I developed it, you know, my method, but I'm still standing on the shoulders of people who came before me, right? And all of our stunts and all of our safety equipment is standing on the shoulders of stunt people, many whom you may never know their names, you know, that came before us and developed this, that we get to inherit wonderful safety equipment, wonderful safety protocols to do bigger and more dangerous things. And then again, to be able to walk away from it, to have more people to have a career built on action is a gift that we inherit from the earlier generations. So as much as I'm glad a lot of things have changed in culture around it and different protocols, there is a huge wealth of thanks for the people who came before us in stunts to allow us to have that. You know,
especially because there was so much trial and error. Like so many people didn't get to go home, but because of that, we learned so much. We learned so much through not necessarily failures, but through things that didn't necessarily go the way that we wanted them to. So, you know, we definitely want to recognize those people too, who, because they weren't able to go home, we have been able to learn so much and create so many safety
or that
protocols.
mentality too. There was a mix of ingenuity and that cowboy spirit of, here's a new thing, and I'm going to be the first one to try it. That's awesome, right?
Speaking of first, and staying on Fireburns, do you guys know the first full body Fireburn, what movie it was in?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
You were the one who showed it to me. It's
did
that
I show
big
you?
long.
So I don't remember the name of it. I remember seeing
I don't remember
scene.
the name of it, but it's the scene where they literally throw like a bucket of gasoline on the guy.
So I remember the video. So now we got to go look it up and show people, because unfortunately I talk about
From Another World.
Yeah.
The
There we go.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm the movie guy.
Well,
And then it was remade into the thing. But
This is where you come in.
From the Another World was the first time a full body burn happened, not a first burn, but
Yeah, and they legit just poured
Toss
gasoline
buckets,
on that guy.
Yeah, but they had the layers. They knew enough.
Yeah.
And and that was before, you know, the gels were developed over time. They knew enough to protect and say, well, yeah, we can't just burn a human being. You know, we're not insane. You know, like, so let's form these safety things. Let's test this. Let's build this, and then let's do this and go big. And you know, it's a beautiful burn. It's absolutely insane.
It's
it still stands
huge.
up today. It's like that's absolutely wild. And doing it with the technology at the time, at least the understanding of different fabrics. And it was Nomex is yet to be made at this point. Carbonex hadn't been made at this point. These are things that were developed later for pilots and astronauts and race car drivers that we take to put to our own uses. But it's still, they knew enough to say, well, if I have this protective material on or enough of these layers, this will stop the heat from transferring down. And, sometimes it's just enough layers of cotton. And, you ride a thinner line, but it can be done.
Yep.
And now we just have protocols to say, okay, that was great. And you did it safely and you did it big. Well, how do we make you not look like a Michelin man, right?
The marshmallow.
How do we start trimming? Because we want to now make you look more human. So we got to develop things to say, okay, well, we did it, but it can't always look like a monster. So we have people that keep developing different technologies and techniques to make people look more like characters, and I'm not alone in this. There's so many other great fire people and high fall people and rigging people who are just constantly looking for, how do we make it better? How do we go a little harder, but also make the image look better? And then where's the line of, all right, maybe this is too much. Are we not getting the story we want and increasing the danger for no payoff? So then you eventually hit a line. So.
Yeah, and I love practical filmmaking so much, and obviously we did only practical filmmaking in One Click, and I think stunt people, their training, put themselves in danger and doing dangerous things, go hand in hand with practical filmmaking, and so that's why I respect stunt people so much too. It's like, if we can do it, let's try to figure it out safely. Obviously CGI is a last resort, but there's something about doing it for real every time. It just looks so much better. Yeah,
and I think because there's more emotionality you can put in your body that doesn't show up in a computer program.
Yeah.
Right? So the computer technology, and to all of my friends out there and colleagues that are in special effects and CGI, has a wonderful thing to add to what we're doing, and it should synergize. Right?
They do amazing work, like ILM, they're magicians. Yeah,
and our work should synergize and build each other up for storytelling. But the thing that a human body can do, and when your mind is activated on a goal or a want or a desire, it activates the rest of the body. And we're meant as a communicative species to kind of read that, so we can see when somebody has an intention to do harm or to be super afraid, and how it moves the rest of the body, even if you can't see the full body of it, right? And those details are harder to program into a computer who doesn't feel. So I think for me, and that's a big hypothesis, a big theorizing guess as to why that looks so much better to people when they see human beings do it and see it practically, is you're seeing emotion through the whole body, right? We focus so much up here, but when you see it through the whole body, it just delivers a richer performance. But I'll take it.
Really good theory.
Yeah, if CGI and SFX can save me from breaking a bone, or making me look better, I don't want to get yeeted 40 feet into a pole. Hey, can we do 10, and then you can make it look like 40?
Yep.
But again, it's synergy, right? Because these are great artists who love what they do. And I know there was a time out of fear that it started to be this divide of we're scared of this, of taking our jobs away. It's no, it's the natural progression of technology and art. But we should be working together because they're artists too, right? They make beautiful, beautiful stuff that I don't even understand. I don't know how you make a computer do that. I'm still working on making my computer turn on some days. So I'm like, come on, man, I just want my spreadsheet to do the thing.
It goes all the way back to Jurassic Park, the first movie with a lot of CGI. It looks amazing because they were going to do stop motion dinosaurs, which at the time was common. TV shows, movies, there's stop motion, some amazing stop motion actors. But then someone at ILM showed Steven Spielberg, hey, we can do this. And he's like, fuck the stop motion. Let's go CGI. And as much practical, obviously, giant practical machines. And then dudes and puppets. So, I mean, they go hand in hand. When it works really well, you create masterpieces, honestly, at the end of the day.
It's finding that balance between the real practical stuff and the, how to use the computer to help kind of elevate it.
Yep.
I had to bring up Jurassic Park because you love dinosaurs so
I
much.
do.
I love dinosaurs
But
so
that movie's amazing. So how do you not?
It's my favorite. I am a dinosaur nerd.
Do you have a favorite stunt, either of you, in a movie? Is there a stunt that you're like, that's my top stunt I've ever seen, or any off the top of your head that just you still remember seeing and you're just blown away by?
Honestly, the whole carriage sequence from Sherlock Holmes, Game of Shadows.
The second one?
Yeah, when he jumps out the window onto the carriage on fire.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, that was
That's amazing.
It's
like a
such a good
70-foot
one.
high fall, something like that.
Yeah.
Too.
That's just one that just popped into my head. I mean, there's so many.
That one's crazy because he did it on fire into the carriage.
Yeah,
in
the barrel roll in Fall Guy, the car roll, insane.
Yeah, those are cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm a Jackie nerd, so I'm probably in the whole.
Oh, Jackie,
I'm in the whole boat of that. Of like, those were always what I watched. And I was like, how does a body do that? He's on the side of the building and they zoom way out and he's just sliding down. I'm like, there's no net there. There's nothing. And he's gonna introduce more interesting roles. You're like, but it was also inspiring. Of, wow, man, your body can do that. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, watching as a kid, I didn't have any idea of stunts. It just didn't click to me then because I didn't grow up in entertainment. I didn't grow up around it, and I didn't know anything about this world. And I'd watch it. I was like, that's amazing. And, you go out and I would try. I didn't even take martial arts as a kid, so I'm trying to like throw kicks, like trying to do stuff, not having any idea of what I'm doing. But I think that's what was inspiring of like, and I think that's why a lot of people connected to that and other action is that you see, and to our earlier thing about a person doing it, well, they did it. I can do it, right? Whether or not you actually can, it's that inspiration. You see another human being to do it. It opens up that world of, whoa, if they can do it, well, maybe I could, right?
Yep.
At some point, you realize how hard it was to do it, and you decide, well, maybe I don't want to do it. Like, I can, but do I really want to? Like, and that's a testament to Jackie's legend and what he added to it is how hard he had to work to get to where he is, right? You're not just born that way. You have to work and be diligent to it. And then we try to live up, and I'm not anywhere close to living up to the way that he works and continues to work. I found the level that's happy for me. And I said, yeah, I get to touch on this a little bit and again, inherit things that they had developed and learned and take some of that style into what I do. And then it was like, all right, I found my happiness with it. Yeah. And this is where I'm going to go. I'm not going to bang my body up that much. I'll bang it up to a certain degree, and then, which is the other part of just mentally being in this business, you find where you're happy.
Yeah.
You don't have to be. I'm not going to be that. That went through a lot of circumstances to get up to there that I'm not willing to replicate or do, and there's a lot of other things that I don't have access to. That's not going to be my journey. And so once you find your journey, even in the light and the path of your heroes, it's easy to get locked into that and feel less than. Like, I'm never going to be them. It's like, sure, of course you're not. But what's the biggest value of you? What do you bring to the table? Be the best version of that and bring that. And then you get to enjoy. Only then do you get to enjoy being around the talents of others, right? Because that's the other gift that we get in this business. We said it earlier, is that you get to be surrounded by amazingly talented people who would do things that you will never be able to do. We talked about the computer stuff. See, I'll never be able to do that. Do I want to learn and curious? Yes, because I'm around people who love it and are amazing at it. I'm not going to be able to use a camera the way you do. I would love to be able to point a camera at things and capture a story. I try, and I just capture the stuff in front of me, right? There's no story. Then I look at somebody else like, how did you move it a little bit and see that? That's beautiful, right?
Hence why I hire talented DPs.
Yeah, I was going to say, and that's saying something because he's not even a cinematographer.
Right. I'm not a DP. I can,
he knows what he's
composition,
doing.
I know what I want.
Yeah.
But that's why I hire better people.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
But that's the beauty of what we get, and you can only feel that if you are confident in what you bring to the table. It doesn't mean that you're without flaws. Like, it doesn't mean that I have unimpregnable confidence, right?
Yeah.
Even in pronouncing a word that I was going to try that's really big. It's that, I found a place to where I can fulfill and refresh that happiness and still grow. I'm not settled and done. Just say, look, this is what I bring to the table right now. This is what I got. And I want that to build up with what you have. And I want to celebrate and be super excited and learn from what you have. And if you're going to try to push me to be something else, well, yeah, now we've got a little bit of an issue that we'll talk about. But if you're going to accept what I've offered, and as long as I haven't oversold that or lied to you, if I come to you with integrity, hey, now we can play and we can really enjoy each other's art. We can enjoy what each other is really good at and make awesome stuff and have a good time. That was the thing on One Click. It was so much fun because everybody had a mutual respect for each other. And then everybody was hands-on and able to help with all of the departments because we all knew what we were doing. Mm-hmm. It was an awesome passion project, had a clear vision, was very well organized and run, and the respect came from top down. So we were all like, well, shoot, they're working their butts off. Like, I'm not just gonna sit here. Like, we know them, and like we know how much went into this. Like, well, I can't just sit here and eat candy all day. Like, just a little bit. So
Crafty was good.
Yeah.
Crafty's very important.
But even then, like, Crafty was an up and coming stunt performer. You know, who was that they wanted to help, and this was the way that they could help on this project. So they're doing something that was out of their field, but they put everything they had into it, right? So it's like every position was somebody who was adding a little extra into it because of the care and the passion of it, and then the respect for who they were. So it made it extremely enjoyable to be out in the hot desert.
I wish it was a longer shoot. I mean, it was only 4 days. We were there for 5 days, shooting for 4.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things that just felt like a great time in our lives, and even though we had people there who work on sets all the time, and it's still just everyone reflects on it so well. It's just it was so fun. I wish we shot for fucking 2 months, man. would have been amazing.
We did have a very nice family going on.
But not that things didn't go wrong like they always do on movies.
Oh, for sure, yeah, for sure.
We figured it out, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then again, if you have a good environment, you're anticipating things going wrong in anything that you do that's super complex.
Yeah.
And if you've got people who are there to support you and build with you, and it makes those challenges easy. It's like, okay, well, we expected this. Let's turn, let's pivot, let's get this, let's move here. How do we go hands-on to make this happen, right? So that becomes super easy to solve, the inevitable challenges with a film and all the complex pieces. So
yeah. So we talked about favorite stunts in general, just overall. What was your favorite or most enjoyable to work on in One Click? Because we had a good amount of action pieces. We had the fight, we had all the squib hits, we had the sniper stuff, we
got
had
to
the
drift
car
the Jeep.
explosion. Yeah, we had the Jeep,
the hybrid Jeep,
the car work. Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, that was selfishly
Thing
fun. I
whipped
was like,
around.
I need to go scout out this environment.
Let me take that Jeep and just whip it around.
Yeah, let's go. I gotta
Where's
test
Greg?
it out. I gotta test it out for the actors. I'll be back. Just hit me on the radio when you need me.
I feel like you had fun with the bike too.
That
in that
too.
sense.
I did have fun with the bike. Cause like I got to go dirt bike on these awesome trails, and I talked to my buddies, and and again, this builds the community because I'm mainly a street motorcycle rider, right? So I have limited experience with dirt bikes, and I was able to talk to my Chicago family and say, hey, you guys have a dirt bike. Can I come and just get familiar with this enough to be able to speak intelligently to Leia, who was going to ride the bike, right? I don't want to sound like an idiot. I know how to ride and I know how to do it, but let me get a little more reps to be a little more comfortable.
Especially because she probably knew more than you about
Totally,
dirt bikes.
which is great.
Yeah,
it's like
which
I'm
is
not
what we
pretending
wanted.
to be an accomplished, motocross racer, dirt bike trick thing. I know how to ride it, and I know how to ride on the trails basic and have a good time. But I'm not going to try to pretend, and then because then it'll break trust if I try to lie and pretend that I have more knowledge than I do, and then she sees through that. She's like, well, now I can't trust you, right? And so then we have a different footing. But my Chicago fam stepped up and let me come to the yard and worked with a bike, and we worked on it, and I got down to what I needed, and then it was fun to be able to take that, ride the trails, and then send videos. And they're like, I'm so jealous of the trails. I was like, I know.
That's why we shot there, is because we have a dirt bike character in the movie, and the location we shot in the desert had dirt bike trails.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
yeah.
Well, and then multiple
specifically built
ATVs
for that.
came through the shoot too, because
Oh
it's like
my
a public
gosh.
trail.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
multiple times
Assholes.
you'd see people come in and like just drive through these trails because they were beautiful and complex and windy, and so you had tall hills and you had windy narrow hills, and you had like little sandy traps to drive through, and
It's private property, but like there's no fences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the middle of the desert.
Right. Yeah. There's no
People are going to show up.
demarcation. So
I remember my brother and I were doing something there a couple of years ago for one of his short films, and we were digging a big hole that a character was going to get buried in.
Yeah.
And we just went there the week before to dig the hole, and we're like halfway through this big coffin hole, and we look up, and some woman on a horse is just staring at us like, hey guys, what you doing? We're like, just digging a hole. It's for a movie, we swear.
Oh my gosh, that's
It's
funny.
in the middle of nowhere. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
they murdered
But
somebody.
Yeah.
there was a kid who came on his dirt bike to come and like bury some animal that his dad told him to bury.
Oh my God, that's right.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the chicken, right?
Yeah, the chicken.
Please tell that story.
Yeah, it was so we see all these bogeys come up. We're like, oh, we got a kid, down here, and he's like, he dropped a bag off, And we went to go look at it because we don't know if he was like dropping a bag or somebody's gonna pick up later and it has some drugs in it or whatever. We're going like, no, it's a dead chicken. Like, so we get the kid, and the kid's like, yeah, my dad told me to bring it down to the ravine and like throw it in the bushes. Back from whence it came. We're like, okay, different way to come up. So yeah, this is kid on an errand on his little dirt bike. Drop a dead chicken off.
Story.
Yeah, go back here, decompose in the wilderness, which I guess is fine, right? Organic.
Yeah.
Something will get it.
Yeah.
One of those snakes I was afraid of will come up and eat it probably.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, but that was enjoyable to go and play in there. I did like the fights though, because working with Justin and Juliana and Nathan on the different sequences that they had to do, you know, because they're very talented performers and physical performers and actors as well. So being able to build with people who have a gifted physical movement set, as well as being able to bring an acting to it, is fun because you can have conversations about how they want to bring different qualities to the movement. So we have ideas. So you had a very clear idea of how you wanted the fight to go, which was also cool because it was opposite than what I'm used to. Of I have to create something, get it approved. You're like, I wanted to look like this. I was like, okay. So I'm like, oh, I got to make it now to look. You would think that would be easier, but now I'm like, okay, all right, how do I make this come alive very specifically, and then work with these bodies and make them bring this very specific vision to life, right? And it was a gift to have performers who are actors and know how to bring something live to camera, to then hear their input and their physicality built on top of that. So that's just fun because now you're working with other storytellers and other performers. You're like, all right, I can give you this little note that you'll adjust in your body, right? And then then we work together. I say, all right, I made this safe for you. Can you hit this here? And they're like, absolutely, right? No big deal, right? So that was, I think, the more enjoyable because you get to have a mix of storytelling and acting and the physicality. So
yeah, that was a lot of fun. The fight scene's based off scene in The Last of Us Part 2, the video game, like the ending fight. It's like I was like, let's just do that. It looks sick. It's cool. It fits. We have a knife versus a person, so I think it worked. And what was cool about that scene is Juliana Ramos Ortiz, such a talented performer, stunt person, black belt. She's pretty short, and then Nathan, you have someone who's 6'2", also highly trained. So is it difficult when you're doing a fight scene having people who are such different height disparities, or is that just a new kind of element to like make it, you have to make sure framing's better? I think we worked on that, but they're mostly on the ground for the most part.
Yeah.
But are there ever situations where when you have someone who's taller than the other person, is it a little more difficult to figure out the choreo?
Not necessarily. Like you'll have things that you'll add in to maybe even the stakes, you know, even the odds a little bit to make it look believable that this one character who doesn't have the range or whatever can inflict some damage. But a lot of that's going to be on performing and acting too. And if they've got all those chops to bring this desperation or this rage or all of this fury into their body movement, well, then we buy it. We're not paying attention to the physics. If you can't act and you're just throwing your body, then our brain's like, there's no physical way that tiny person's beating that big person.
Yeah.
But if it's a tiny person filled with rage and then they hit you like, oh man, I don't give a shit about the physics. Like now we've got all of this emotion coming to it. I don't care about the height. I don't care about the physics. Sometimes you don't even care if the strike landed. We do because we want to make it, you know, as good as possible. But if the emotion's so raw and the story's so good, you're not even paying attention to that.
Yeah.
Plus strategy. The character has a sneak attack situation.
Exactly.
So
like they've got that. They've seen their the family die. They're in a situation that they don't know, and they're at the end of their rope, and they finally are able to come after this person. So it's all adrenaline. It's all with a little bit of tactics mixed in. So it's got layers to it, and so being able to bring that to the screen, well, it's like, well, okay, now we just make sure the physicality is safe. So let's make sure we've got that so we're not accidentally clipping each other as that emotion over ramps us, right? Let's make sure we can stay in control, which then is a credit to the performers having all this physical background to be able to control the emotions that surge through you. Because if you don't have that control, it's going to make you go wild, right? So they've got that. And so then we just make it look clean. We look at the camera, okay, you hit your target here. All right, maybe a little bit too much of this emotion bled here. Bring your strike up a little bit more across because we're losing it in the camera. Let's work on those details while you're ramped up and revved up, right? Let's make sure you're falling and hit your pad. we made a nice little dirt pad for you. We covered it. I drew a little message in there.
Oh my gosh, you did.
Yeah,
What do you write?
It
I
up.
can't remember.
Yeah, don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck it up. Put that in the dirt. Make sure you hit that. Make that message disappear. It's like, so you build them, and then so you make sure it's all clean. Make sure that the strikes that they want are coming across and it's repeated, and and Nathan had all the gear on to make sure you're not falling on any of that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And then we rock out from there. So so as to your question, like the height difference, not necessarily. If they've got the acting going on,
Mm-hmm.
if we need to bring them down to level, we lower them down. Take their knees out. Try not to make them jump because that loses power, but you find creative ways to get them in a situation that the smaller could beat the bigger, right?
Yeah.
And that becomes this creative force between director, coordinator, choreographer, if you have one on,
Mm-hmm.
and performers, So, yeah, I mean, I guess a little more of a challenge, but not big enough that it's a concern.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, you just play to each person's strength and what would be realistic for the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And again, if they're gifted movers, sometimes, and this wasn't a challenge, but sometimes a challenge if you're a gifted martial artist and it's very clean forms and very clean strikes, making them look rough and making the character look like they're not trained, that can be a tough one. It wasn't on this. Julianne was great of being able to let the emotion take control and be rough with it. You know?
Yeah, that's something we spoke about with Jules because she is so talented and technical and an accomplished martial artist, and so we would make sure like you gotta look like you've never been in a fight before, and it's just fueled by rage and revenge and just trying to kill this motherfucker and like, use that as your attack. And she pulled it off so well because she's so well trained, and it's like not that you wouldn't be able to tell, but she makes it seem like she's not.
Yeah.
It's just
and
great
Nathan
acting.
on the other end being able to catch it and absorb it. You got somebody just literally jumping at you and just flying right at you. Like, yeah, I'll catch it. It's still a body, but I know she's smaller than you, but she's coming at you with rage now. So you're still going to get hit, So let's make sure that you're getting hit. We still see the impact, so we don't make it too safe. So it looks like, oh, okay, we want to have it, boom, still hit. We want to feel that palpable hit that gives us a little bit of that energy.
That is such a fine line that we are constantly riding in stunts. Is we want it to be safe, but we don't want it to look too safe. So we're constantly riding that fine line of how can we push this to make it look really gnarly and make it look like it really freaking hurt, but trying to keep the safety into it as well.
Totally. You don't want to look choreographed.
Yeah.
It is choreographed. Everybody knows it's choreographed. But you want it to not look like it, so the audience goes, did they just wail on each other? I'm like, that's awesome. If it doesn't look like a set piece of choreography, oof, that's beautiful, right? Because it can still be beautiful if it looks like choreography. Sure, sometimes like the movement itself can be beautiful and set up and real nice, but if it looks raw and it was repeatable, man, that's the golden spot.
Speaking of, like, I don't know, the the bus fight scene from Nobody just popped into my head when you were talking about, like, making it look raw and, like, they were just wailing on each other. Like, that fight scene, to me, another one of my favorites. It just looks like they're just beating the shit out of each other in that bus the whole time. It was so well done, well done.
And again, sometimes a testament to and always a testament to the performers. Sometimes you are getting wailed on.
Yep.
And
Sometimes
you're
that's
taking
real.
some pretty good hits, and that's what we talked about, the training. You have to build your body up to be able to take impacts and, again, get hurt. We have pads on. We pad appropriate areas, right? But sometimes
if you can.
Yeah, and then you allow that impact to come in, and, it's you take it to a certain extent. Again, that's why we get paid, and that's why we train so much and do so much. And when you finally get to have the day, that's what all the work pays off for. It's the show. Okay. Yeah, it might hurt a little bit. Then you go to Crafty, you get some coffee, you go home, you rub some money on it.
Yep.
Rub some money on it.
Yeah.
But that's why we're there. It's the whole point, is to go have this awesome experience that you will hold in your memory, that so few people ever get to do. It's always a gift to be able to do it in any situation, in any film. I don't care how big it is, how small it is. It's a gift to be able to do it and to do it with people. And so when you finally took all this training and all this work and all this time and all this emotionality, everything, and you get to work on a day, like, yeah, all right, let's go as hard as we can, And your heart is going to be at, like I said earlier, your level. This is what I bring to the table. This is how hard I can go. And you bring that. And you say, I hope that's what you want. I hope that's what you like. I did my best. If you do your best and we walk away, great. You know, sometimes it's enough. Sometimes it might not be enough. And again, you have to be comfortable with that. Say, this is my best. Is this what you want? And in this industry, sometimes people will say, no, that's not what we want. And okay. So stay strong. Go home. Yeah. There's no money to rub on that. You go, yeah, then you go pick yourself back up and either make yourself better or say, that's where I am, you know. So I think to saying that, because the performers in those fights and Nobody and fights of that ilk are amazing performers, and, you know, on a skill level that fight-wise that at this point in my life I'm not going to match either. You know, I'll hope I can take hits like that, but man, being able to see that and enjoy it and celebrate it, right? Instead of being like,
Yeah.
Hell yeah, you guys did a great job. It's awesome. You know, watching people get the shit beat out of them. And then to know, they go home to their family and go home to their friends. And, you know, we're all nerds. They're probably playing some tabletop card game at home. It's like just aching, like, there you go.
Well, speaking of gifts, it was a gift to work with you guys on One Click. Hopefully get to do another one soon.
Yeah.
But let's wrap up this.
Let's blow more things
accompanying. I know, right? This accompanying movie podcast.
Do we have any more cars to blow? Any more shitty cars?
We could get a car.
Yeah.
Any more shitty cars?
We're gonna do a Fireburn soon.
Yeah,
we're gonna do that.
It's like the opposite of like, hey, you want to donate your shitty car to be blown up?
Someone would.
Could be a write-up.
We'll take a car.
Take a car.
Yeah, we'll take a car. We'll do
car,
it.
boat, RV.
Yeah.
One Click, November 16th, 6 p.m. Pacific time, YouTube premiere.
YouTube.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.